I'm 6 foot, 195.
Yeah. I'm 6 foot, like 175.
Yeah, I've put on the quarantine 15, so normally 180, but man, I
It's
can't
all
get back.
good. A little room for air right there. A little cushion. It's all good.
Yeah.
What's the weather like up there, man?
Oh, it's been beautiful. Nice, 70, 80 degrees. I've been playing pickleball in the mornings from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. for the last 5 days, and it's like the perfect time. Not hot yet, and it's been really nice. So it's been a good summer.
There you go. I've actually been thinking about trying to get together a group to get up early in the mornings, because, I figure people start coming around 8 o'clock, but if you can get up, get there around 6 or so and kind of get 1 or 2 hours in, whether you want to drill or whether you want to, kind of not even have like a select group, but I mean, really whoever can get up that early, because I myself struggle with getting up early.
Yeah, no, it's doesn't come natural. I'm a late sleeper, so I go to bed late. So this forces me to get up, get going. Had a couple of just foursomes that we've been playing with nice and early, and I'm hoping to start up like a leveled play with a group of people at our pickleball club here that are willing to get up that early, and it's a great way to start the day.
Right. So are y'all indoors or outdoors?
So we've got 8 courts. It's all outdoor in Cranberry, Pennsylvania. So it's called the Cranberry Township Pickleball Association. It's the largest pickleball club in Pennsylvania. Uh, Putting 5 outdoor courts in the next couple of weeks. Actually, they're getting ready to finish them up, put up fences. So yeah, it's been really cool to be a part of it for the last 3 years. When I started playing, it was like I got in at just the right time. Was it got really popular here in this area?
Yeah, for sure. Is that close to where they had the Gamma Classic last year?
Yeah, yeah. So it's about 30 minutes north of Pittsburgh. So a lot of the people that play here played in the Gamma Classic. So I've played in the Gamma Classic the last 3 years, and that was kind of actually I'd only been playing for like a couple weeks, and I signed up to play with my wife, and she had never played in her life. So I was like, yeah, it'll be a good bonding experience. Yeah, it was a good time. She hasn't played much since then. I might have scared her off a little bit, but it's been fun.
Yeah, I've got my own stories. I mean, I don't know about yours, but mine. I mean, me and my wife have talked about it. We both know that they are now horror stories. It's been a couple of very awkward long rides home when my wife and I did try to play together. So hats off to all of the couples out there who can play together.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah. I always have great respect. I've been playing with a married couple that are both really good, and they play really well together. And I'm like, hats off to them for sure. That's takes a special couple to be able to do that. Love my wife, but some things you just aren't meant to do together. So
You know what? I absolutely wholeheartedly agree on that. But it's all good. It's all good. When we're out there having fun, just social play and stuff like that, we definitely get some games in.
yeah, yeah,
So
for sure.
Ben Paquette said, "Hey, 195 is a good weight." You know what? And it's funny. I've been 6 feet tall since I was in high school, and I've always wanted to get to 200 pounds. Like that was just kind of like mentally, I just thought 6 feet tall, 200 pounds, like that's a solid build.
Yep.
And I could never ever gain weight. So hats off to all the 195ers.
Yeah, no, it's I've always floated around like 180 since I was in high school, and then I got up to 205 in college. They got into little weightlifting, and been floating back around 185 for the rest of my life. But I got up again to 205 during quarantine, and I looked in the mirror, and it was a little wake up call, like this belly just needs to go a little bit. So yeah, I'm quite content, and happy with wherever I'm at, but there's always a little tire there that needs a little shaping up.
There you go. It's all about consistent improvement. Constantly assessing and self reassessing.
Yes.
And that's one thing that I personally struggle with from time to time. Across many different aspects. So
Yeah.
it's a valuable asset to have. When you can self assess. And I mean, hey, As long as you're happy. I mean, you're playing pickleball. What? I mean, you can't get happier than playing pickleball.
Yeah, you gotta enjoy life and be able to eat as many cheeseburgers as you want, right?
There you go. There you go. So I asked if that you said Cranberry Township, like it sounds familiar. When I played at the Gamma Classic like 2 years ago, we had an Airbnb and it was, I don't know, it wasn't far, but there was like, I guess 2 or 3 pickleball courts right around the corner. And like they were all cracked up, but they were dedicated courts. And I think it was in Cranberry. I'm not sure.
Uh, there's a few areas around here that do have some other like dedicated courts. These ones are real nice though. They've done a good job of keeping them up. Resurfaced them when I started to get some little like bubbles in them. So yeah, it's a great little area to play. I started playing 3 years ago at a park, kind of a similar story to you. I was playing tennis by myself, just hitting some serves because tennis is a lonely sport, and it's hard to find people to play with. And this 70-year-old guy was like, "Hey, you want to come play some pickleball with us?" And so they had a group of people that were just playing, and I'd seen it or back in like high school in PE class. That was the extent of it. And so I started playing a little bit and was like, "Oh wow, this is a lot of fun," And just like anybody who's ever played, got addicted to it, and just started playing from there. Played the Gamma tournament like a couple weeks later. And I'm a very competitive person, so I love competition and love trying to compete. But also, I love the social aspect of people sit around in chairs after games and hang out and talk and get to know one another. People of all different age levels. I was being a teacher in the summers, have summers off, so I was playing with a lot of older people. And one of the great way to bridge the age gap is play a little pickleball.
Yeah, I mean, you pretty much just described my story like verbatim. And so often in the sport of pickleball, we hear the same story over and over and over and over. And I don't know what it is about pickleball. People ask me like, what is it about pickleball? Why is it so addictive? Like for me personally, I had very little faith left in humanity, and that's just just being pretty brutally honest. I started becoming more and more and more of an introvert, and I just got tired of dealing with people, but then I started playing pickleball again. 2 70-year-old ladies introduced me to the sport. I'm at the rec center. I'm shooting around in the gym, basketball, and I hear this sound, and I think it's ping pong. So I like peek around the corner, and I see 3 nets set up and a bunch of people in the bleachers. I'm like, what in the world is this? Like mini tennis or something? And they were just like, no, it's pickleball. Let me show you how it works. And I'm just like, it's all right. I'm good. So I was off work for 2 days. I went back to work and I'm shooting around again and I hear the sound again. So I peek around the corner again and the lady comes up to me. She says, she grabs me by my hand and she says, you don't get to look twice without trying it once. This is pickleball. Let me show you how it works. And literally from I think I tried tennis once or twice and it wasn't my jam. From the moment she put that paddle in my hand, it was, I just couldn't get enough of it. I mean, playing multiple times a day, driving to different facilities, going up to Maryland, finding different places to play. It was, my wife is just like, yo, what is this thing called pickleball? Like,
oh, what is it?
I'm like binge watching YouTube, trying to watch matches. Like, all right, so I see they're hitting angles, and it was probably pretty unhealthy. I mean, looking back.
Yeah, but it's addicting, like everyone says, and you just want to do it more and more when you're not doing it. You're thinking about it, right?
Absolutely. I started having dreams about it, and and for me, it was more like the physical aspect was cool. I've always been athletic. I mean, I was a firefighter paramedic, so stayed in shape. But like, I mean, yes, you have to be sort of physical, but like the thing that gets me with pickleball is, well, 2 things. One, the mental aspect of it. I say it's like a physical chess match, but I suck at chess, but like I understand the kind of push and pull on the pickleball court. And, oftentimes on the court, there are a lot of instances that directly correlate to life lessons. And my thing that I really hit home on is reaching out to the youth, and I feel that I can make the connection between a lot of things that happen on the pickleball court and a lot of things that happen as a youth coming up in this world.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, no. A couple things you said there really resonate. One, just like, like giving up on humanity, and um, my wife, she's not from this area, and we don't spend most of our time in the United States. We teach overseas in Shanghai, China, and so when we're home in the summers, that's when I play a lot of my pickleball. And we don't know a lot of people in this area. It's where my parents live, and so I've been able to make friends through playing pickleball in my social circle, and went to a friend's daughter's graduation party the other day that I met through pickleball. And so I'm always telling my wife, I'm like, she's like, "Oh man, I need to make some friends." I'm like, "You got to come out and play pickleball. It's the best way, easiest way to meet people, because yeah, it's like, how else do you make friends with people in your 30s, 40s, 50s if you don't have an established friend group already?" So I think it's a great outlet for that. And then, like you said, like students who have never played a racket sport. I know you talk about how you don't come from a racket background. Pickleball is amazing because you can pick it up and have some like decently competitive points without having that like racquetball experience, and you can take a group of students and have them sit down and say, "All right, let me teach you the basics." And within, 30 minutes, an hour, you're seeing some really good points. And so it's really awesome to be able to take a group of students who have no experience and really see them make that quick jump. Whereas, like I was a tennis coach for a long time. And, if kids didn't have hours and hours of training and been playing since they were little, you try to give them two rackets and a ball, you're going to see 1-2 ball rallies. That's it. So that's what's so great about pickleball is you can pick it up and be pretty decent in a quick amount of time. And if you want to get really good, then obviously you got to put in the time like you've done. But yeah, it's a great sport for anyone.
And the way you just broke that down, I mean, again, one of those kind of correlations that I'm talking about. I mean, it sounds just like life. A lot of kids don't understand, like, hey, if you see something, you try something, and you like something, you're not just going to automatically be good at it. Like you've got to put that time in. And me personally, I do a lot of motivational speaking, middle schools, and I take pickleball equipment there and I leave it there and all that stuff. But the one thing, at least that I can remember from looking back as far as motivational speakers coming into the school when I was in school was they're like, you can be whatever you want to be, and that was kind of it, and I never really heard anything else. They never really told me kind of the flip side of the coin. Like, no, it won't be easy. You can't just sit here and say, oh, that, you know what? I want a Lamborghini and that's just going to magically happen. No. If you want a Lamborghini, you got to bust your butt, and go get it, so that's like life. And you work with kids, and anybody who works with kids knows that if you don't make a connection with kids, they will shut down immediately and you will get no traction.
Oh yeah.
But if you make that connection, I mean, you can get, the most trouble kid to, give you the shirt off their back. You know what I'm saying? Because of that connection that has been made.
Yeah.
Can you speak to like the connection? I mean, you teach, so, how does it work with the teacher as far as being a teacher?
I think, being a teacher, so I teach middle school math, 7th and 8th grade, algebra, geometry. And one of the biggest things I pride myself on my teaching is building that rapport with students. Most students don't like math, let's be honest, right? I'm sure many people here can agree with that. And so I build that relationship with them in a way that gets them to trust me, to respect me, that they want to listen, that they want to learn. And I do it in a way that is fun and helpful, and they see the value in it. And once you make that connection with students, like you said, they want to learn it. They want to, see you be proud of them. And with pickleball, and just like with teaching, one of my favorite things about teaching is, when you're teaching somebody a concept and I'm teaching them something in the classroom and I see, it clicks and that light bulb goes off in their head and they get that smile, like, oh, I get it. It's that same thing with pickleball. You're teaching them a skill or a shot, and it clicks, and they're like, oh yeah, wow, I can do that, and that's that feeling that really motivates me as a teacher, and really encourages me and keeps me wanting to teach, whether it be, math or pickleball. And I see that in my son all the time, and just working with him. And sometimes it's easy to get frustrated, or if someone's not picking it up. But yeah, it doesn't always just come easy. So you got to work for it. You got to practice. You got to grind. But when they see that it clicks, that as a teacher or as a pickleball coach or speaker, that's an amazing feeling.
Absolutely. I like to refer to that as that aha moment. Like you said, it's almost as if we, as the instructor or somebody, passing something down, can see the process of when you first mention something to them, whether it be, a type of math problem or, trying to get somebody to understand the third shot drop and the processes behind it. It's like you tell them about it and they're just like, yeah, I can't do that. Like, there's no way. And then, you work with them. And the thing is, every person learns different, and this goes back to that connection. It's I hate to say it, but it's on the instructor to kind of figure out the learning style and adapt. But I personally like that weight on my shoulders. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I feel like I'm the one for the task.
That's the mark of a good teacher. You can't teach all kids the same way. Each kid learns differently. That's just proven science that the different styles of learning. And so whether it be in school or whether it be a sport, some kids are going to respond to some techniques, some are going to respond to another. So that's awesome that you view that as like a challenge that you want to do and reach those kids, because that's what's ultimately going to spread this sport and really get through to them.
Absolutely. One of the things that, there's an instructor who I think very highly of, Mark Renison. I've taught with him when he came down to Virginia. He said, if the instructor gives a task to the student and the students don't do it correctly, it's the instructor's fault for not communicating it correctly, or to a degree that the students fully understood it. Now at first I was just like, but wait, I just told them what to do. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't hard, but it wasn't hard for me, and until they get it, I'm still on the hook to keep explaining it, you know?
Exactly.
But no, that's huge, man. Those aha moments, man. And another thing you said is kids wanting somebody to kind of say, there's a lot of kids who don't have somebody in their corner saying, you can do it, just keep pushing, just keep grinding, but the kids that find that connection, whether it be with that one teacher at their school, whether it be with that one leader in their community, whether it be with that person in their neighborhood, where they can kind of share their wins, and that person is just like, yeah, let's go. A lot of people don't understand how valuable that is to somebody trying to accomplish something that they may not be good at.
Yeah, no, you got to build up a student's confidence. You got to support them. If you don't have that support and that what we call growth mindset, they've been thinking that I can do this no matter how hard it is, students are going to quit, they're going to give up, or they're going to think that they can't. And they say if you don't have a growth mindset, you have the opposite of fixed mindset. It's like putting your brain in a jail cell, and it completely limits what you're capable of doing. So just by thinking that you can, and having that someone telling you can, it really allows you to learn to your full potential.
Absolutely. I listened to a motivational speaker, Eric Thomas, and one thing he says is kind of, if you get stuck, or if you're trying to do something and you're thinking about giving up, it's almost fail proof. You have to revert back to think about what you're doing, that task, and you have to figure out what is your why. And what I mean by that is, why are you doing this certain task? For me, when I was trying to get hired by a fire department, every time I took the fire department test, the physical agility test, all I'm thinking about is my daughter, because, I'm in my back's against the wall, if you will. I've got to beat a certain time limit. I've got to do certain skills in certain time if I want to even get considered for this job. So if my mindset's not right, I could, be a couple seconds late. But if I'm constantly thinking about my why, my daughter, my son, my wife, putting food on the table, like, those are non-negotiables. Like, that has to happen. And I'm about to burn this course up to do that. If that's what the obstacle is in front of me, it's just got to get done, And that's what I try to push to these kids when I do go to these schools and stuff like that,
Yeah, no, that's a great message. It needs to be heard, and there's a lot of students that don't get that and they don't hear that, and so that's great that you're able to be that voice for them.
Absolutely, absolutely. So talk to me a little bit about Mission Pickleball. I like your shirt, by the way.
Yep. So these are our shirts. Thanks for rocking one for me.
Absolutely.
So three of my passions in life are sports, pickleball in this case, teaching, like I've mentioned, and giving back and helping others. And so those are pretty much three things that encompass my life, no matter where I'm at. And so I've always been a huge sports addict, and I've always said I'm good at every sport, but I'm not great at any one sport. But I just love to play, And so somebody asked me to play something, yeah, okay, I can play. I can be competitive, And so, like I said, I started playing pickleball a few years ago and had the opportunity to do some clinics at our school in Shanghai, China. And so they teach it in PE, actually. And so they had a bunch of nets and some old school wooden paddles from like the 1980s that weighed like 20 pounds each, little string around the wrist. So after I started playing, I was like, oh, it'll be really cool. So at the end of the year, they let us do a 1-week class on whatever we want. And so I chose to do pickleball. And so a lot of these students, never heard of it, but I got 20 kids that signed up for my morning class and another 20 for the afternoon, grades 5 to 8. Was able to do some lessons with them, and I guess just how quickly they picked it up and how much fun we had, and was able to do different drills and had a little tournament at the end, and it was a great time. And so for the last 3 years, then I've also been leading sports ministry trips to the Philippines. And so this past year, I've been working on a new location, taking a team of people to Boracay, Philippines. And so in the past, we'd always done basketball has been our main thing. And so people in the Philippines love basketball. And so I said, all right, I'm going to introduce pickleball on this trip. And so our PE department had some extra nets. And so they donated 2 nets for me to take down there. And then I reached out to Gamma Pickleball, and they donated 10 paddles for me to take there. And then I just had a bunch of balls and a couple of my own paddles that I took down to leave with them. And so, it's like 105 degrees. We worked with this school there that they live up in the mountains. It's actually the indigenous people that used to live in Boracay before tourism was there. And so when tourism came, they all had to move. They got kicked out of their land and had to move up into these mountains. And so these people, they didn't even have schooling. So in the last 10 years, this organization we work with started a school for them. And one of their main hopes is to be able to go to college. Really one of their only ways to go to college is if they can get like a sports scholarship for a lot of them. And so there's a really good friend of mine named Coach Claude that works with them and is their sports director, and his wife's the principal of the school. And so they're really just amazing group. And I said, hey, I want to teach some pickleball classes. So we set up a couple nets and had all the equipment and had, like 20 boys and girls that had never played. Many, literally have nothing. They didn't have shoes. They have a few outfits, and we started playing some pickleball, and they just picked it right up, and it was amazing just to see the joy on their faces and how much fun they had, and just like the contentment that they have. We have so much, and I'm so blessed, and just to be able to share this sport that I love with them, and to see how much joy it brought them was a really great trip. And so that gave me the idea of thinking, how can I build on this? And so, if we really want pickleball to grow and be this worldwide sport, and we talk about ultimately being in the Olympics someday, it has to spread worldwide. And so, my vision came out of that to start Mission Pickleball was to provide pickleball access to students around the world, especially students that wouldn't normally have that opportunity to do so. So that was where I came up with the idea for Mission Pickleball and the hope to spread it to students in other countries and students here in America. And when I reached out to you to see if you wanted to partner, I know you were already doing some great work with youth here. And so, yeah, that's my hope, and hope to continue to grow it to be able to provide pickleball access and clinics for youth around the world.
Absolutely. And the one word that I kept hearing, just over and over is exposure, and trying to lessen the lack thereof, in whatever demographics, like you said, you're organizing trips for basketball, and now it's pickleball. Again, you saw how much pickleball has changed your life. You saw how much pickleball changed the kids' lives that you've introduced it to, and you're looking to continue to do that and scale, to an astronomical trajectory. Oh, I'm all in. Again, you've pretty much said the exact same thing that I'm trying to do. Going to places where kids may not have necessarily had access to for whatever reason. The reason is irrelevant. It's not our problem, but we're taking it as our responsibility to try to fix the problem. And I like, anybody who's a mentor who, makes it out of a situation, or, reaches back to help somebody who may be in a lesser situation. Like, I mean, how can you not get behind that? Yeah, I mean, I'm all in, man. Seriously, that's what I do with the schools, and
yeah.
Whatever you need from my end, we're gonna make it happen. We're just gonna keep ministering to the kids.
I reached out to you because I seen your heart and your desire to wanna to give back, and to not just play pickleball purely for the fun of it, or purely for the financial aspect of it, but to really to give back as well. It's a mission. It's not just a one thing. It's about really giving back. And so that's one of the things that's always been near and dear to my heart. My wife and I have had the opportunity to be involved with some really great organizations that have really done some amazing work and helped. This past few years, we've been involved with a group called December that raises money for anti-human trafficking. And so we've been able to raise a good bit of money to be able to help with that terrible injustice. And we used to work with World Vision to be able to raise money for starving children throughout the world through what's called the 30-hour famine. And so I've always wanted to, start something of my own that I'm passionate about, and that I can say, all right, this is how I can directly impact some people. And so, like I said, combining some of my passions, and that's where all this came from. And so I know you have a similar just heart and goal and vision to be able to give back and reach out to this next generation, and especially those that wouldn't normally have that kind of access. So yeah, that's the hope from here. And right now, if people go to missionpickleball.com, that's where the website's up. It gives a little bit of the story, some things we talked about. Starting off, selling some t-shirts. One of the things that's needed in order to be able to spread is to be able to raise money. And so that's the one of the subvisions of Mission Pickleball, is to be able to raise some funds, to be able to provide equipment and access. And so hoping to, as we grow, just expand into some other things. One of my visions would be able to have a paddle program where if people buy a paddle from us, we donate a paddle to somebody in need. And so, there's some other organizations that do something similar. And I thought that'd be really cool if we could do that with pickleball paddles, you know?
Absolutely, absolutely. And you know, that's huge. I'm actually at my farm. You know, I've been getting free wood off of Facebook, and I went and bought a log splitter, and I'm selling the wood to get the courts built, because I want to pretty much turn pickleball farm into like a youth oasis, if you will. You know, fishing, gardening, farming, dealing with all types of stuff with, you know, all the animals that we've got. And again, you know, it's just more exposure. Just the more you're exposed to, the more you know. The more you know. So it's good, man. You know, I definitely appreciate you reaching out. And you know, so I've got a trip planned for Costa Rica, a pickleball trip, and I'm gonna try to take some stuff over there, equipment wise. And you know, kind of they've got it going over there, but I want to kind of just add some value to them over there, you know.
Yeah, no, definitely. When is that trip?
It's in February, end of February.
Yeah, no, great. So definitely hope people sign up and do that, and take a group of people down there and play some pickleball, but also give back to the area there.
Absolutely, absolutely. What was I getting ready to say? Is there anything else that you want to say? Kind of tell the people.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Look up Mission Pickleball on Facebook. Like the page, just help spread the word. Check out the website and just keep your eye out. Hopefully, continuing to do some things. I'm getting ready to offer some clinics here to students in the Pittsburgh area. I'm in Pennsylvania for the foreseeable future, until we're able to get back to Shanghai. So we're hoping to get back at the end of July, but it depends on when they open the borders. So then we'll go back and hoping to pick up where I left off, and be able to offer some clinics and spread the sport to the youth there in Shanghai. There's some outdoor badminton courts that I'm looking to utilize, and you know, these exact same dimensions. Just got to add 6 inches onto the kitchen line and put up a couple nets, and before I know it, you know, there'll be 20, 30 kids out there. So yeah, looking to continue to build and grow and spread this awesome game that we love, and so many people on here love, and you know, it's changed our lives, and gives us something to look forward to, and you know, grind every day for.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I'm gonna actually put a link on gizmopickleball.com, directly to missionpickleball.com, just so you know, people who come who visit my website can easily find it from there.
Awesome.
That'd be huge, man. That'd be huge, definitely, man. So come on, let's see if we can't, you know, buy up all the t-shirts that he's got made. You know, it's for a great cause. You know, try to continue to spread the sport, you know, both local and abroad. I think we've got some good things that we're going to be able to do together, you know, to try to further this mission that we both have. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thanks so much for having me on here and letting me chop it up with you, and for all that you're doing. And I know you just were playing in a tournament this weekend and planting crops and watering and building some really cool stuff. So I'm looking forward to seeing all that you have planned and getting those courts built there, and being able to really grow that in your area and provide some cool thing for youth in your area.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Well, I definitely appreciate you too. I'm going to go back and put my overalls and my boots on.
Yeah, time to settle down for the night.
Yeah. All right, man. Have a great day.
Hey, you too. Good talking with you. Take care,
Yes,
Jack.
all right.